All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the final part of the show, we're going to talk about Kyler Murray. The Cardinals, they feel very optimistic about Kyler going into this 2024 season. And I know we've talked about him a couple times on the show. So they're really anticipating a breakout year for him. Coaching staff and teammates commend Kyler's commitment to the team. And marking a shift from previous concerns about his maturity and preparation. And there's been a couple of jokes in our production meeting being made just about, the new Call of Duty coming out, and, which that kind of reflects social media because many people make those Call of Duty jokes as well, how, Kyler's focused on that, the new video game coming out, as opposed to winning football games. But yeah, Kyler is fully recovered from the torn ACL and is entering the second year under offensive coordinator Drew Petzing. The Cardinals, of course, they drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. with their first selection, their first round draft pick, and that's their number one wide receiver. You have other guys like Michael Wilson and Greg Deutsch and Trey McBride, James Conner. That's going to be your offense going into this season. And with Kyler being healthy, Kyler played okay last year. We'll see what happens, but there are some people that think within the organization that Kyler is a dark horse MVP candidate. Now, Kyler has gotten off to great starts, but then you get to the end of the season, and they have slow finishes. I mean, the playoff game against the Rams. That always does come to mind because he did not play well in that game. And, I think he wants to redeem himself, of course. But I don't think the Cardinals are going to make the playoffs. But there are some people that do believe that they can make the playoffs. I think with the healthy Kyler, the NFC is not as loaded as the AFC. We've discussed that many times. But I don't know. I'm not really of that mindset that I think that Kyler is going to, Kyler and the Cardinals are going to make the playoffs. But I could be wrong, I think when he plays, he's fun to watch. Last year, 1,799 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. It wasn't bad. Won his first start, his first game back against the Falcons. They won that game in Philly when Philly was collapsing. We'll see how he does over the course of a full season. But I think it was important they get that wide receiver because that was a position of need. And since DeAndre Hopkins left, they're kind of looking for that, that next receiver. So yeah, I'm curious to see how he does. And the Cardinals were a gritty team last year, and that was reflective of the head coach. Kyler's still 26, still got his career ahead of him. So let's see how he does in a full season. His first 3 years, 2019, 20 touchdowns to 12 picks, 26 touchdowns to 12 picks in 2020, 24 touchdowns to 10 picks. Passed for 3,700 yards his first season, almost 4,000 in his second season, almost 3,800 his third season, and then, 2022 got hurt, and last year, didn't play that much because of injury. But you know what? When he plays, the Cardinals are going to be a better team. It's not Josh Dobbs. It's not who's the other one that started? Clayton Tune, right? It's not going to be. You're going to have Kyler Murray playing. And I think he's going to play well. I'm excited to see Trey McBride, another season under his belt, because he really looks like he's going to be a good player. The other guys, the other receivers outside of Marvin Harrison Jr., we'll see. James Conner's expecting, a big year out of himself, but, he's a guy that's gotten hurt over the course of his career. But when he plays, he's solid. He's been solid for the Cardinals. since he came over from Pittsburgh. The Cardinals did draft another running back behind Connor. So, we'll see how, that backfield plays out. But, yeah, I mean, with Kyler Murray, they're going to be a team to keep an eye on. So right now you got Kyler Murray, James Conner, Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson. I did also forget. I did say Greg Dortch, but they did sign Zay Jones, so they brought him over from Jacksonville. And then they also have Chris Moore, Zach Pascal. There's some of the other receivers that they have on their team. But yeah, they drafted Trey Benson. They still have Michael Carter, Amari DiMercato, who made some plays for them last year. So yeah, that's their running back room. But yeah, Trey Benson could be that potential replacement for James Conner. And that's one of the running backs that was drafted high because it wasn't a very deep running back class. But I mean, unfortunately for them, they play in a division with the Rams, with the 49ers. So yeah, I'm not really expecting them to make a run at this division. But yeah, wild card, that's probably their best bet if they were to make a run. I mean, I really didn't have the Cardinals winning that many games this year. But with Kyler, last year they went. How many games they win last year? They won 4 games last year. I mean, they could win more than that if Kyler's playing well. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler, that's going to be the new connection, and that could be fun to watch. So, yeah, I mean that's pretty much my thoughts on the Cardinals. I think seems like they're heading in the right direction. Again, they were a gritty team last year. They won some games that they weren't supposed to, particularly against a couple of NFC East opponents. So, now they got Kyler. They have full belief in him. And teammates and coaches are speaking very positively about him. Seems like he is, matured. And that's huge. Because there were some question marks there about his commitment and things like that. So, he's a different guy. And maybe that, sometimes when players get injured, they really take time to reflect and, they come back different because of it. So we'll see how Kyler does in 2024. Now, I understand why he could be a dark horse MVP candidate because, like I said, he gets off to very good starts. It's just then, you go throughout the season and then things kind of tail off. I mean, again, when the Cardinals made the playoffs and the year before that too, when they fell short, they were disappointing ends to their season. So they're looking to change that, and maybe they're a team that surprises people. We'll see. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it on that. So talked about a lot today, of course. Tomorrow will be the last quarterback rankings that I do, and I think I'll start doing either like running back rankings or receiver rankings. I'm trying to do some other things, as we try to get, like I said, get to the finish line and get to when games are going to be being played now. And we do have football coming back next week, and we're going to have a game every single week until February, basically. From here on out. Now, it's just a Hall of Fame game next week. Then after that, you'll have, a bunch of games that we can get into and discuss. Because I know I did go over the preseason schedule very quickly on a previous show, but yeah, you got that. And, a couple weeks after, preseason starts, then you got college football coming back. So things are ramping up. Things are gonna get exciting because it's been like I said before, it has been a long off season, and I just want to get to games. That's really what I want to get to because that's when things get exciting. So, but let me know what you guys think about what we discussed today, whether it's what we just discussed before with Kyler and the Cardinals. We talked about Saquon Barkley, Aaron Rodgers did quarterback rankings for the AFC South. Talked about Like I said, talked to Jamar Chase as well, who we just talked about. When he's going to get his contract. I mean, he will get his contract. The Bengals really want to get that done. Um, so, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Adam from before, appreciate the comments in the chat. I have a nice little conversation about, if I played football, which I did when I was younger. I mean, if you could see, this wall right here, there's a picture of me playing football on the wall where my closet is. Well, not playing, but just in the uniform, in a green uniform. Now, I wasn't playing for the Jets. It was just a random green uniform. So, yeah, that was, believe it or not, I did wear shoulder pads in my lifetime, in my 24 years on this earth. There was at one point I was wearing shoulder pads. But it was for a very short time. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure to check out all the other shows, of course, like I always say. Give the other shows some love with all the other stuff going on in the world. Baseball is back from the All-Star break. Got Team USA, constantly giving us heart attacks like they're going to lose. But, they pull out the wins. They're getting themselves ready for the Olympics. Yeah, I mean, there's still stuff going on. But before you know it, football is going to be back. So that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to tune in tomorrow, same time, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And until then, I'm Kenneth Gruenfelder signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.